On this episode of Intent Topics, we are joined by guest Bret Ludlow of Liquid Interactive. Today we'll be talking about using a consultative selling approach to selling digital services.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning into Intent Topics today. Today we have Bret Ludlow from Liquid. Bret, excited to have you on the show. Tell us what you are doing now and how you got there.
First of all, thank you guys. I'm really excited to be here. I'm a big fan and you guys do great work. So I'm looking forward to it. My name is Bret Ludlow. Man. Yeah, no problem. I'm the Vice President of Strategic Solutions at Liquid. Liquid is a firm based in Allentown, Pennsylvania, so just about an hour outside of Philly. And we help companies become better digital businesses. We do that by enhancing their customer experience and improving operational efficiencies by leveraging digital technology in new and effective ways. We have 4 focus areas at the company. We have analytics, technology, brand and creative, and digital marketing. So we bring all of those together under one roof to bring the best solutions to our clients. And so my job right now is in the role I'm in is to really align with the senior leadership at our clients and our prospects, deeply understand their business objectives, their goals as it relates to digital transformation or really any of the areas of focus we have, and then work with our senior team members and consultants that we have at Liquid to architect the solutions that meet their needs, form relationships, and grow our relationships with those clients. So I also, one of the other areas of focus is in this industry, always evolves, always growing, always changing. One of my focuses is bringing new service offerings to market for the agency. So have that focus as well as we evolve.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. So you guys have clients like Mack, Volvo trucks, right? Crayola.
Yep.
Like some pretty small clients. So, you guys have a lot to offer. I think there's agencies that do pretty well focusing on one of the things that you guys offer, but you seem to bring everything together very, very, very effectively, which is great. Even your guys' presence is awesome. We were looking at, Instagram, your website, all that.
That's all tight.
Yeah, very tight. So, one of the things we talk about here at Union is agencies that present as a jack of all trades is sometimes hard to really find the angle to sell it, right? Because, it's the temptation is, what's your problem? We can solve it, right? So, and it's something we've seen a lot of people kind of fall into that trap. But you guys obviously have great customers, have grown very fast. How do you, kind of go to market in a way that is effective, even though you have so many different competencies?
Yeah, like without diluting your services, right?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. And I can tell you that it's definitely difficult to run a company like Liquid that can maintain all of this in-house expertise across many areas. One of the other unique parts is that we're technology agnostic. So from a platform, what we're going to build in, what we're going to architect solutions in, it's really what are their requirements, what are their goals first, and then based on our experience across many different platforms and our partnerships, we'll bring the best team to the table. So it's difficult. There's a lot of you're always investing in new areas. You're always keeping. Keep looking for that next hire that knows that next expertise. So it's definitely, not an easy way to go about it, but I think it's rewarding at the end of the day because our customers can trust us to solve their problems with technology. So a lot of times our customers, they're smart. They know what they are trying to accomplish. They either don't have the teams, they don't have the resources, or they've made an investment in a platform and their vendor left them and they don't know how to really make it work. we can bring that all together. So what we like to do is lead with, you're not even talking about necessarily our service offerings and getting granular right away. We say we're a digital business company. We can make digital work, whatever that means for you, whatever you need, and let's just listen to what you're trying to accomplish, and we'll kind of fill in the blanks from there. One of the interesting parts is the kind of the brand side. People might say, why does a digital company do branding and brand strategy? It's not necessarily traditional to what a digital agency would do.
Right.
From our perspective, if you are evolving your technology and you're evolving your customer experience and you're changing always improving the way you do business with your customers, if your brand's not evolving to keep pace with those changes, your customer experience really can only hit a certain evolution point. So it's a fun story to tell, but it definitely has its complexities, because you go up into the market, and if a company has a specific need, like, hey, I need an SEO partner, and they are looking at firms that have just as many people as Liquid but only do SEO all day, every day. That's definitely a strong contention and strong competitor for us in that situation. But we'll try to open up their minds and say, okay, we know how SEO fits into the bigger picture of what you're trying to achieve. Oh, and by the way, maybe shift focus away in some areas, or look at how you can complement that in other ways with paid search. So we're taking more of a kind of maybe sometimes change the conversation, but do it with that kind of us understanding that whole picture of their digital ecosystem.
So that's awesome. And I hear all the time, it's like in this space, like customer experience, right? Yep. That's a buzzword, right? User experience, customer experience, like investment in digital platforms and all that kind of stuff. And then we talk about things like, brand evolution and all that. And I think it's easy to get caught up in, I have to have a good customer experience. And you have all these people talking about, different KPIs around customer experience and personalization and all that kind of stuff. But when we talk about how that all rolls down to the bottom line, and you guys are talking about solving business problems, and that's what really interests me. So it's not like we're looking at nice looking things. What are some of the metrics that you guys look to drive when it comes to building, like really getting that return on investment in things like, customer experience and all that? Like, what are some of the things that brands that you work with can expect to see from that investment, where it's not just like table stakes, it's actually, real bottom line growth?
It's a good question. I think we look for growth in a couple ways. One of those ways is the operational efficiencies will help them discover. Not just by outsourcing work to Liquid, but by us finding ways that they are underutilizing their technology. So a lot of times we work with clients that have enterprise systems, enterprise platforms. They paid a ton of money and painful implementations, but it's there and they're using it, but they're only using maybe 10% of the platform that they're paying for. And they're not leveraging, and they're paying for another license for another tool that does something very similar to what this other platform that they're underutilizing can do. And so we'll jump in and just say, okay, just for the same cost that you're already paying for your license fee, fold in these three platforms you're paying for. We'll migrate over to this one, and we'll build one ecosystem under here, and you'll fully optimize and leverage the platform you have. So there's a cost savings and an operational efficiency side to that we can really tangibly track and say, okay, how many hours of one person's manual effort where did you save, and put that energy elsewhere, because you can optimize the connections between these two platforms, whatever it may be. So that is definitely one area of it. The other area of it is the growth side of it. The customer experience, as you just kind of said, in terms of, it's a very common thing, but if you can't prove it, it's hard to kind of retain that customer relationship. So we get really deeply ingrained into definitely their metrics organization, the numbers that make them tick, as we can when we're kind of driving these types of programs, efforts. For example, we'll look at, for example, we have a client that kind of B2C services. They have about 200,000 customers, but their customer crossover rate by cross-selling into other service areas was really low. It was kind of stagnating. They'd get their customer in the door, they'd pay that reoccurring revenue fee, but their cross-sell rate to other really products that should be kind of no-brainers was very low. So we kind of dug through their customer data. They were using Domo. We kind of dug into that, understood, okay, what are the similarities between customers that are kind of buying these services? What trends can we find within that customer? Okay, now let's leverage the platforms that they have in terms of email marketing, in terms of social targeting, and kind of really target individuals with unique messages that meet those criteria, and then see the uptick. So with things like that and studies like that they don't have time to do, they're just kind of running the day-to-day business. They don't have time to sit there and slice and dice and analyze because they don't have a team of 40 people running their digital marketing. They can then see that immediate lift. So those are the types of things we'll dive into. Yeah. The key is for us, and this starts even before in the business development process, the key is to get deeply ingrained into the organization and the numbers that make them tick. And if a company is kind of standoffish about that, or isn't really letting you in and just kind of keeping you kind of at arm's length, there's really only so much we'll be able to do or prove or show at the end of the day.
That's really interesting, and I like this idea of diving in and really understanding the metrics. And I hear this story a lot, where these companies invest a significant amount of money, 6 figures into some of these projects, and then you said it, like they're getting 10% of the value back out of it, which is outrageous to me. I don't come from the big corporate world, right? Like $100,000 is a lot of money. So one of the guests we had, and the podcast is coming out soon, Sam Wright from Sirius, we spoke a lot about like sales alignment from sort of the business development to the all the way to the account executive side. What I'm interested in is how you guys think about how the digital sort of presence aligns with sales process and that kind of stuff. Have you guys thought about how those things should align in a business, or have you run into some cases that's discussed in organizations, or you wish it was? Or what's your thoughts there?
One of the big things we're seeing change, especially on the B2B side, is kind of the evolution of the CMO, and a lot of companies are even kind of getting rid of their CMOs and migrating some of those activities to the sales area. It's really, these B2B companies are kind of becoming more and more sales driven, and the marketers and the CMOs and people like that are becoming, it's more and more difficult to defend themselves because they don't have the insight into the data to prove what they're doing is actually helping the company. We have a service offering that we would do at that point. It was really focused on sales and marketing alignment. Not only do they need the technology, you need it in order to have all of this work. You need a CRM and you need a marketing automation tool, and they need to be integrated and stood up, and a powerful CMS. But if you have all those things and you're still not getting the information out, it's really just about getting the sales executive leadership and the marketing leadership in a room and agreeing to key metrics, key processes, key workflows. It's really, it's like taking the digital out of it and saying, okay, we need to work as a unified front. It's not the marketing team can't touch your leads and the sales team doesn't need marketing. Or we see that a lot. They need to be a unified front. And sometimes that can be difficult for larger organizations. That basically, sometimes we even see it where a sales team's like, hey, Mark, I don't want marketing to touch my customers. I have my relationships. Don't even email them with anything because, I know what they need. And which is great. It's a great sales team to know that client that much. But that's where there's a big disconnect, because marketers can definitely help in every step of the customer journey. And it's about kind of unlocking some of those quick wins.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, so Brett, so you've probably been in a bunch of conversations where you're trying to get this like sales marketing alignment, right? Have you come up Have you guys at Liquid come up with a phrase for that better than smarketing?
No, there's a lot of different. It's so hard in this space. That's funny. We haven't used that one. I can tell you that we have not used that. We haven't used that one.
No, I can't use that.
We just like to dump things down. Yeah. We like to dump things down. We don't really, even sales and marketing alignment's buzzy. We kind of just try to avoid some of the buzzwords and try to just say, hey, let's get in a room and make this work.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
That's awesome. So you guys are into simplicity, which it sounds like is really like the core value. It's like make stuff work right.
Yep.
And don't really, tinker too much. That's cool. So expert positioning, let's go back to so you came from kind of the ground level at Liquid and have worked your way up.
If you include my internship, ground level. I've been at Liquid for about 10 years and different positions from project management to account executive to digital marketing and kind of social media management to the role I'm in now. So seen a bunch of different angles.
So you've got pretty good, which is helpful too when you're dealing with clients, right? Like you got to have a pretty well-rounded. So we talk about expert positioning. That's super important. Like every salesperson I've ever trained, this is one of the things that talk about is expert positioning. Like confidence comes from knowledge, right? So when you're in these kind of conversations, how have you? Like you're on the front lines, dealing with your clients and stuff, and with so many different things that you can sell, and so many different pieces of the puzzle. How do you, and you obviously know your stuff, right? So how do you really get that expert positioning? How do you build that confidence? To then go and have these conversations with various different brands talking about various different
and it's tough, and no one person can be a mile deep expert in everything we do here at Liquid. Even for the two areas I have never spent time was I've never been a developer programmer. I've never been a designer. Those are very, very difficult skill sets. And as you know, so when it comes to things like that, the biggest thing that our sales team does is really understand the business needs and how everything that we do can solve problems. We kind of take a team approach to sales, and call myself and the other salespeople at Liquid, relationship people. They're the tip of the spear, and they go in. They meet. They might have the first meeting alone.
Yeah.
They might. They should be able to stand on their own and go in and myself. Talk to the senior leaders understand what their needs are, because there's always a need. They're always talking to us for a specific reason. Some people can kind of analyze on the fly and do some of that strategic thinking on the fly. Others do the information and fact gathering, ask the right questions, know the questions to ask, know where to go next, bring all that information back, and then get the team together to architect the solution. So if you look at our I would say our leadership management team, the heads of all of our departments from creative, marketing, analytics, and strategy and technology, they're not all on the clock all the time. When you look at an agency model where you have everyone's billable and their rates, so all of those people, part of their job and their expectation is to be out with clients, helping architect and sell in solutions. And so we definitely, that's a little bit of, from an agency perspective, extra overhead to have, but it helps us make sure that the experts are coming to the table as quickly as possible, and the solutions really as thorough and foolproof as possible.
Interesting. So if you were a sales, say you were like a, just starting as a, account executive or something, knowing what you know now, what are some of the things that, as you've kind of evolved in this space, what are some of the things that you would tell yourself or tell somebody now that's kind of starting in that role? or tell that person's manager, how to really, get that,
No,
get
that's
that
good. It's
alignment
good. It
and
makes
get
sense to me.
that.
So I think one of the things I would say, and we look for new people all the time, and one of the easiest ways we find new people from a sales side and an account and executive side is from within, because they've seen different angles and they know how things work. But I will say, when we hire someone new, for an example, one of the things I would say is that you need to leave your ego at the door. You might be smart, and I know you have experience, and I know how all of this comes together, but it's a team approach to selling. And if you're not aligned with you better be in alignment with what the rest of the team is recommending. It's not you out there being the rainmaker and coming back in and all of that. We don't do, for example, we don't have a commission structure here, because it's truly a team approach to working with a client. And that's what I would say. The people that don't succeed are the people that think they know it all, the people that think they are the experts and in everything and their ways right. And I don't need, our director of technology to come with me to this meeting. I know what I'm talking about. Oh no, that's not how. I would definitely say that's my biggest piece of advice: is trust the experts, know your lane, know what you're good at, and embrace the team's strengths.
That's really cool. Yeah. And that's coming from you, who, if I'm not mistaken, if anybody sort of brings their ego into it in the way that you guys sell, it'll just be a savage beating, right? By the marketplace, right? Yep. Like, you do not know this, and we're going to show you exactly why you don't know that. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's interesting. I like that. And here at Union, we believe in the same thing. It's like, not everybody knows everything, and that's okay. You're in the game because you're good at what you do. You don't need to be good at, if you're a defender, you don't need to be good at scoring goals, right? So consultative selling, you mentioned it, or relationship selling, or, these things get mentioned a lot. It's one of those buzzwords that we talk about. I believe in it, but what does it mean to you? Like, what does that sort of arena or style
really
mean to you in your role and in
how
your
we
head?
approach things here? It's really hard to, business 101. It's hard to find. It's more expensive to find a new customer, than to service your current customers and grow that relationship. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't want to be doing that all the time. We have a lot of our clients. We have a couple clients that we've been working with for over 25 years. Those are the things that we kind of that relationship part is important to us. And that, I think one of the ways we operate like that. And for me specifically is that, if I'm working with a client, I don't need to be in every meeting. I don't need to be in every discussion. I don't need to be, even from a sales standpoint, I don't need to be, if we have our main contact coming in for a big meeting, I don't need to be there. I feel confident and that and trust the team to deliver and ask the right questions. And so I think the relationship is key, but it has to go beyond me. We need others forming relationships at all different levels of the organization in order for us to be truly successful and kind of be able to grow that relationship with the client. We kind of do it in a tiered approach where we have an executive kind of lead on the account. So on our executive team at Liquid, myself and two or three others from a leadership standpoint, we have that open relationship with the executive team at our clients. They know who to call if there's a major problem, if there's a big need. They know how to get a hold of us. We meet every couple months to just work aside. Let's talk about what's happening in the market, how they're doing, and how they're performing, how we're performing, and then when it comes to our teams executing work, there might be 3 or 4 different touch points that are happening at any given time. It's interesting because it helps us get that deep knowledge. Now there's risk there because if you're not really all in lockstep with who's saying what and what happened in one meeting that I wasn't at, and I turn around and talk to somebody else and I didn't know that they talked about something else, it sound ridiculous. I mean, you run that risk, but but we've learned to work well in that way. And so the relationship selling is really the only way that we're able to succeed here.
That's really cool. So you guys are like adhesive, almost like a strip of tape from the top down to so some of your are some of your like kind of more tactical teams, are they interacting like you guys are executive to executive, and then as it goes down, are you also interacting with kind of so like their marketing
it'll
people?
Be a little bit of
or is it like
it'll be a little bit of both. But we definitely everyone on the team is client facing. We think it's best for the client. Cool. There are different ways to structure this, as you know. Like there are other agencies where you talk to this person and this person only, they'll report back what our team says, and they're going to be the voice of and that's fine. There's a very successful way to do things. But from our perspective, the more people that we can get out in front of the clients, the subject matter experts, they like to talk to the people they're working with. They like to talk to the people that are on their team. They like to see the team. And so we all the way down to tactics, executing with tactics on their team. They're collaborating together. They're on status calls. They're working on Slack together. And it's really just a joint effort.
That's awesome. I love it. Cool. So talk to us about the evolutions or trends that you see having a potentially large impact.
One of them would be
on yourself,
this continued trend in large companies.
In the next 12 months.
Like some of the ones we're working with is building in-house teams. So some of the services we've offered over the past 5 to 10 years, people just continue to build more and more in-house expertise in one service at a time. All right, it started out 10 years ago. Nobody knew how to handle social media. They had to outsource all of it. They didn't know how to approach it, how to tackle it. Now most of these companies have social media teams in-house. Same with, and then that continues to evolve. Now some major global companies are building their whole programmatic advertising management teams, their own agencies and everything in-house. So that's going to continue to evolve. And that's why we really focus on innovation and introducing new service offerings. We have a liquid innovation team here. That's a cross-functional team of people that, meet. Yep. It's really it's outside of the 9 to 5. It's their passion, and they spitball ideas. They come up with new thoughts or ways we can be bringing things to market or approaching things. But then in general, everybody at Liquid is encouraged to, if you see an opportunity, if you see a new service offering, if you see a trend that you want to help Liquid jump into and fill a gap in the market, just raise your hand, talk to us, and we'll give you the resources you need to do so. But you'll be accountable for doing that. You're going to be the one in charge. You're going to be helping make this a success. We'll invest, but you got to show us that it's growing, and we can sell this to the market. We have to continue. Yeah, we have to continue to operate that way, because we should really be, not major new service offerings, but evolving within the areas that we're experts in. We should be continuously evolving our practices and things we could be doing within that area, and what's next in digital marketing, what's next in data. And that's really what we're going to need to continue to focus on as companies continue to build their in-house teams.
Yeah. Now, is that I've heard the term time to market. Is that just because there's more people who do these things and so they become cheaper, and then also like when it's in-house, like you can get stuff done a lot quicker? Is that kind of what's going on, or is there something else?
I think it's a little bit of that. It's a lot of that, and a little bit of
companies bringing more and more stuff
costs
in-house
driving it. You think that we can have an agency do these things, or we can hire a couple people. The bottom line is we continue we have to differentiate ourselves from that. Yes, it's great that you have this team. Here's another area of focus you could be also kind of looking at to help drive you to the next 5 years. But yes, I think cost is definitely a part of it. Cost savings where possible, and I think nice. I think the job market. I'm thinking of the job market. People are coming out of college now with data analyst job descriptions at a very, very high rate. Social media majors are launching across the country, or are producing new students and graduates across the country. So, it's just you just bring them on board, where before it was kind of an unknown. So I think that's look at the the amount of kind of people that have either graduated and are data analysts or changed their job description to be a data scientist from something they were doing that wasn't that. They're just popping up everywhere. So yeah, I think that's part of it.
Right. Wow. Yeah, that's cool. I love that idea of an innovation team.
So it's like we'll sponsor projects. We'll have
team,
if the team kind of comes together
cool.
and even a technology like a cool project that isn't a new service offering, but it's something we can deliver, develop, show off here at the office so that our customers can see how we can work with this emerging technology that maybe no one's purchased yet or whatever it may be. That just helps us open doors and sell more of those services. We sponsor that a couple times a year. Yeah.
Nice.
That's a good question.
To wrap this up, what do the next 12 months look like for you
so we're
specifically?
rolling out a new brand identity for ourselves, which has been a lot of fun to develop and test and launch. Yeah, so you'll start to see, if you follow along with us, you'll start to see some new things in market. We've, like I said, we've been around for 25 years, and we've had different iterations of the brand because as the industry evolves, we want to keep it evolving our image. So that's going to be exciting, and it's a huge part of my job is making sure that we grow our new service offerings, new clients, unlocking doors. So the other thing I'll say is, my role will probably evolve by then. I never know what's next, but I typically focus on something new every 12 months. So we'll see what happens.
Right.
Nice.
Sounds great.
Yes, thank you. It was great
cool.
talking to you guys.
I enjoyed having you on the show today. This was a great conversation.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Brett. So this wraps up this episode of Intent Topics. I'm Chris Battis.
And I'm Logan Kelly. Thank you so much for joining in. Please give us a follow and a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or whatever podcast app you listen on. We will see you next time.
Take care.